What is up, YouTube? And today I'm going to be bringing you guys Tabor's top tips to becoming a god-like player. But let's not mess around with an incredibly long intro and get straight into the tips, because I know that's what you guys have come for. And also there's going to be a bonus one at the very end that a lot of you don't know about, what could make you a lot of money in the future knowing this tip. And let's get the boring one out of the way, what you probably already know, but learning the maps. I know, it's in your head, it's like, I know it's obvious, you just need to learn the maps. Of course it's going to make you a better player, but you do not understand. In a game like Tabor, exactly like Escape from Tarkov, knowing the maps, the extracts, the loot locations, all of the special things that go on in the map is going to greatly improve how good of you are as a player. So please, when you first jump into the game, you need to take your time going around, whether it be on the safe side, going low gear, just so you can get an idea of where exactly the key locations are on both of the maps, and also where all of the extracts are, because there's nothing more infuriating when you jump into a raid, you're going around, you've got all your gear, your loot, you stuffed your bag full of stuff, and it's like, I have no idea where I'm going, or you are smart and know to follow the compass, but you end up going on all of the scav routes, get killed on the way, and boom, there goes all of your loot. Now there are some maps online, you can go and check what will show you all these locations, but really it's best just to play it, go around, make sure you're exploring every individual building so you can learn the individual spots, and going to all the extracts. And also remember, the extracts change depending on where you spawned in the map, so remembering this stuff of where you spawned, so next time you don't even have to look at the compass to see where you gotta go, you already know which extracts are up. Next up is quest selection, because leveling up those traders is a super important thing for you to do when you're first starting out in the game, because the basic guns you get from the level 1 traders as well as the armors you get are trash, and you will die very often from either being undergeared with your guns or not having the body armor to be able to tank those rounds from other players or the scavs. So the two that you need to focus on the most is either going to be Spectre or Minty, because the other gun trader doesn't seem to give you anything until the really high level, so we just don't even worry about him. Now with the Spectre quest, you either have the kill Phoenixes or kill player one. This is all dependent on how good you are in the game. If you're a good PvPer, go for the kill ones, because they give you a lot more XP and you'll get through the levels so much faster. But if you're not that experienced and you don't feel like it's reliable for you to be able to kill players over and over again, go for the Phoenix ones and play it a little slower. Or if you want to skip it all, you can buy the most upgraded version of the game, was only $10.99, and it will automatically unlock all the level 2 traders for you, giving you an access to better guns and gear from the get-go. Obviously it does seem a little bit pay to win, and it kind of is, but Escape from Tarkov has a similar thing to this, and I never really complained too much about that. I'm going to do two at once because they're both in the same page, but these ones are actually really important because they're settings that you need to change what will improve your gameplay. So the virtual stock is one, where the game will virtualize a stock in a gun when you're holding like your rifles or sniper rifles, so that you don't just kind of keep smashing the stock into yourself and not being able to aim down the sights very well. So this will enable you to be able to shoot better if you don't actually have one of the VR stocks that you can buy, and it will only improve your aim and help you killing those players and Phoenixes getting some of those quests finished. And the one a bit further down the menu also have grip strength, so it's set really high for some weird reason, and what you want to do is tone that down, and it will allow you to pick things up so much easier, so you can do cool tricks like flipping your gun around, injecting mags, and changing things so much smoother when it comes to this, because looting and moving on to the next area will only improve not only the time of you going through raid, but also getting to those early spots, so you can make sure you get those loot before somebody else gets there and whips it all away from you. And another quick set, and what I didn't mention in this, is actually the snap feature. So when you move on the joystick, you'll snap from one side to the other. You can actually toggle this to smooth, so it moves like you would in a normal game where you smooth look around if you're not looking with your head. This is actually a really good feature. What I don't know why isn't set as the default, but that's my personal opinion. Learning the players' spawns. Now this kind of ties into my first original point about map knowledge and spawn areas, but once you know the spawn areas, you'll also know the other player spawn areas. So when you spawn in on the map, you'll know exactly where there possibly might be a player within the first 30 seconds of the raid, so you can either prepare to try and take him on if you need those player kills, or you know those places where you need to avoid in the early map so you don't run into a player if you're running low gear and don't have a weapon. Say for instance you're doing a naked run. You should always be practicing in the gun range. I know this sounds really silly, but so many people don't. Like, if you get onto a game of any kind, you're always going to be a little bit rusty at the beginning, whether you've taken a break for a couple of days or you're just getting on for the first time from, you're always going to be a little bit rusty. So getting into that gun range and practicing warming up and shooting, because this is more like shooting in real life than it is actually in a video game where it's just kind of point and click. You kind of got to line the sights up and all this other stuff. So you're better off going into the gun range, practicing, getting warmed up, so when you go into raid at that first gunfight, you're more likely to actually hit your shots, unlike me most of the time. You should always be picking the right weapons for the right maps. Now, we only have 2 maps at the moment. One is a close quarters silo map, and the other one is the island, what's more open range with some close quarter areas as well. So taking the right weapons is so important. For instance, if you're going into the island and you're only taking a pistol, if you fight anybody at range, trying to shoot them from far away is going to be an absolute nightmare, and you're probably just going to end up getting killed either by the scavs for their aimbot-like mechanisms, or you're going to get killed by a player who's got some kind of fully auto weapon like an assault rifle who just sprays you down from range. And obviously the same goes vice versa for the short range map. Taking a sniper rifle or some kind of long barrel weapon might not be the best, so go for like some of those small SMGs, or even just running around with handguns, beneficial for that map over the long range map. You need to learn to abuse the AI system in the game. Now, this is something that I learned very quickly in Escape from Tarkov, what really helped me with the AI in the game, because they are busted when it comes to their aimbot-like features, as I mentioned before. So abusing their line of sight by pushing up close to them, because if you're fighting them from range, they are destructive. They are way more likely to hit their range shots on you than you are on them. So pushing up behind cover to avoid their line of sight, getting up close, then spraying them down before they get a chance to lock onto you, you will have much more success killing the scavs rather than just trying to shoot them out in the open from distance. Learning the best loot spots in the map, but not only the best loot spots, but also what is good and what is not good to take, because there are some things in the game that take up a massive amount of space in your bag, but realistically is trash and isn't worth anything. And even some stuff that you put in there isn't worth anything at all, like water, for instance. You would think water might sell for anything. You take it to the trader, it's worth 0. It's worth nothing, but it takes up like a quarter size of your bag, so it's just not worth taking. But the rule of thumb that I like to apply, if it's electronical of some kind or some form of attachment for a gun, is usually worth decent money. And I also give you 2 items that you definitely need to be looking out for. One is the skull, what has set spawns worth big cash, and another one also is the crypto wallet. Again, has set spawns but can be found in violent cabinets too. These can be worth up to pretty much nothing, up to tens of thousands. You should always be taking mags for guns that you don't currently have and making a stockpile of them. For instance, when I first drop in with level 1 traders, picking up AK mags and M4 mags from the scavs, you can't actually get access to them to a later date. So when you stockpile them up and you do find a couple of M4s and AKs, you can run some kits with the spare mags that you decided to put away. So taking the time just to quickly pick those up and chuck them in your bag is definitely worthwhile, because it will give you a fighting chance against some of those people who have that higher tier gear. And if you stuck around this long, like I said, there's going to be a bonus one at the end, and this one is actually going to be sticking items on the side of your bag. So the bag dynamic is a little bit janky, where you think you can just shove things in the front, but you can stick things in at all different angles, and you can also stick a lot of the bigger items that take up a lot of room and just kind of get a sliver of it in the bag, and it kind of goes in there, so it slots on the side when it really shouldn't. But you should definitely abuse this fact, then you can fit more and more stuff in your bag, making more money and progressing yourself further in the game. And if you have any more tips for any of you new players or even experienced players, please do drop them in the comments below, because I really want to hear what you guys think of this, or any extra ones that could help out some new players. So until the next one, thank you very much guys. Remember to like and subscribe, and have a good one.